And I'm aware that Ajmal's got his slides up, and I hope that I pronounced your name correctly. Ajmal, he's
Yes,
got a
yes,
cool
you did.
microphone.
I
Excellent.
hope you can
So
hear me.
yes, definitely
Okay,
can.
great.
Take it away.
All right. So hi, I'm Adjmal. I'm one of the founders of Mindtrace. And now before I go any further with the rest of the presentation, I first want to say thank you, which normally is reserved to the end, but then not so many are listening anymore. So first, thanks to the entire BeOnline team for organizing this great conference. Okay, so let's dive right into it. What is Mindtrace? You've kind of touched upon it already. We're in essence a technology provider that focuses on collecting data through webcams and as much data as possible. So we perform eye tracking, emotion tracking, where we get the 7 basic emotions out: as happy, surprise, sad, anger, disgust, fear, and contempt. And we also do heart rate tracking. A little bit to our story: we're cognitive neuroscience researchers ourselves. That has been our background. And I still remember doing eye tracking studies myself, where I had to sit right next to the participant, just staring at my laptop, at that webcam, just wondering why on earth has nobody used this yet as eye trackers themselves. But back then, well, we weren't as far as we are now. And whoever has used regular eye trackers before, the entire idea is for them to be plug and play. And well, that has not been my experience with these things. You plug them in, you hope they work, and then you have syncing issues, et cetera, et cetera. So our goal was to actually create a plug and play experiences for researchers, so they don't have to worry about all of this stuff. You have to worry enough about making a great design, and you don't want to also deal with all this hardware. Okay, so how would you use this? The whole idea is to be simple. So you would first go into our system where you create a simple experiment. There you get two things. You get an experiment ID and an experiment password. Then you integrate this into your online experiment. Here you use our API code examples. It's all on the website, which is almost just a copy and paste. And there you plug in your experiment ID and password so it matches up. Then you just run your online experiment, collect your data, and you download your results. In essence, there's also no proprietary data format or anything. This is also something I really hated when I was using eye trackers or any other type of software. It's just simple CSV files that can be imported and analyzed with anything and everything. So how would the integration look like? So because it's a JavaScript library to use our API, you can use it with anything. But of course, we wanted to make sure that it's usable the simplest with Gorilla. And you all know the task designer. And in essence, you, at the moment, for now at least, you have to just add a simple other task. And there you just plug in this code. And up here, you can see the experiment ID and password. The rest is rather standard. It connects with our servers, asks the participants for webcam access. Everything is being checked if it's synchronized, and then runs the calibration routine, and off you go with your experiment. So because of eye tracking performance, I guess you also want to see some of that. If you want the raw specs, the accuracy is about 1.1 degrees and the precision about 0.26. And we sample at around 30 hertz. So up on the left, so here you can see this is the detection for the fixations. It's just a simple calibration routine where I show this now. It's normally shown in random order. For this video, we just decided to have it in going from top left to the bottom right. On the right, you see the actual gaze position data of the same data, but now in the original presentation order, which is of course not just top left going to bottom right. So yeah, as you can see, it's it's rather smooth. Did it finish? Too many windows open. Yeah, there we go. All right. And because we don't only collect eye tracking data, we also do emotion tracking. So on the top left is a real time. This is not possible at the moment. Because I mean, we've been working a lot on the integration, but we hope this is possible soon. So you also have the real time performance. But what we normally do is we collect the video stream and we do the analysis on the frames slightly delayed, so you get a much better, higher frame rate and performance of the emotion tracking. And you can see on the right, this is just when it turns blue, it detects a change in facial coding. In this case, it's the expression of sad, and we had to slow it down about 20 times because the expression lasts for 60 milliseconds. But because we run it so quick, we do catch it. And also here, we're about 90% accurate with ground truth data, and the sampling frequency is also 30 hertz. Now, heart rate tracking, this one is the interesting one. Here we use the process of photoplethysmography. And here, what we did is, of course, we ran lots of comparisons to see how good it stacks up to an actual heart rate monitor, because you want to use it for research, you have to know how good it is. And we simply let people, so this is now for one person, that's why you don't see any error bars. But we have let multiple people just play a simple game for 10 minutes. And we track them with a regular heart rate monitor and also the Mindtrace one. And you can see this is the graph we get. And the mean error rate is about 1.89%. And also here, the sampling frequency is the 30 hertz that is from the other ones as well. Okay, so here come now the requirements. This is something a lot of people don't think about. When you do any type of webcam studies, it's important that you get good data in. And lighting is super important. Windows from a window from behind, light coming in, bad. Dark room, bad. Turn on your lights. The second, glasses. Glasses are generally not a problem, but it has often to do with where is your screen relative to the webcam? What is the angle? So we often say, please don't use glasses, because very, very often the reflection is just so bad that we can't detect the eyes at all. The next one is browser compatibility. We focus on Chrome and Firefox, and we hope that people actually sit on a desk and not just on their bed. For eye tracking and for the other things, it's super important, because the more you wiggle around, the worse it gets. You don't have to sit perfectly still, but when your computer is tilted and you're tilted in the other direction, it makes the algorithms' life quite hard. And the last one is, of course, the simple calibration routine that you know from many eye trackers. Okay, so what are the advantages? Even though we do stream the video, the webcam video to our servers, we are fully GDPR compliant. If you make use of us, we only do count proper data collection. So you'd be surprised what some people do just to participate in a study and make some money. But actually, maybe you're not as surprised at all now that so many more run online studies. So if calibration did not go well and you still want to use the behavioral data, this doesn't count as hours used from our service. We've seen many people use us as an additional high quality attention check to see if participants actually do what they should do. We think we are actually now plug and play, and all data from the eye tracking to the emotion and the heart rate is all in sync. I still remember having to line up different data sources. It's a pain if it can be managed afterwards at all. Then challenges with webcam data collection is always a bit of accuracy and speed of processing trade-off. If you want to run it on the client side and you want a very high accuracy, you run the risk that you melt the computer of the participant, or that a lot of participants can actually not participate because they don't have the specs to support it. But that's then with the accuracy. So if you want faster speed and accommodate multiple, you have the cost-benefit analysis right there. Gaia has mentioned already internet connection. This can be tricky. We've tried to take care of buffering and running through multiple, a distributed network to make sure this is not so bad anymore. You have different devices, different cameras. You have the environmental factors of the light, or maybe someone is sitting in a cafe. Well, maybe not during the pandemic, but generally people do. And maybe they think, I should now participate in an online experiment. And you have head movements. If you run calibration and your participant does this, it becomes very hard for the algorithms to still be accurate. We try to take care of all of this. So what's next for us? We try to improve the heart rate tracking algorithm even further. We hope we get real-time eye tracking out. And because we want to get the most data out of webcam for research, we're working on also approach avoidance measures, which, yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with as well, and also movement statistics, because they can also be quite indicative of, one, as a sanity check and an attention check, but also when you have cognitive tasks, cognitive demanding tasks, people move around, and this can be also indicative of how they process things. All right, just to sum up, the researcher just in essence wants to expand webcam data collection possibilities online. And so far, solutions not simple, flexible. There is WebGazer, and I really like it. But you do have some problems when it comes to the client-based accuracy. But I'm very happy to say that I hope we're now one of those options on the table. Thank you.
Thanks. Again, so impressive. And in fact, I should point out that when I asked Gaia those questions last, I had no idea that this is exactly what you were going to say. So,
okay, I thought you knew.
No, it wasn't. It should have been a segue, but I didn't actually know that. And I was amused to hear when you were saying, you know, it really matters what the environment is. You can't have a window behind you, and you shouldn't wear glasses. You're doing those things, and I wondered whether this is a GDPR thing. Are you trying to hide something here, Adjmal?
No, not today.
When you do comparisons with ground truth heart rate and things like that, how do you measure those with other devices? Is it ECG or like wrist-based heart monitors? What is ground truth in this case?
Right. So we tried with these wrist type of trackers, but they're not so good themselves. I mean, they're fine for what they are, but when it comes to research, we didn't want to use those as ground truth. So we used these heart rate chest straps, the ECG ones, for comparison, for ground truth. Yeah,
that's impressive. And just briefly then, what about for like facial recognition? Because I always worry that I have no idea what ground truth is in that case.
Yeah, ground truth in that case is, I mean, I'm not a facial coding expert. So what we do is we work with facial coding experts, and we literally send them these images and they code them manually. And we let that work be double checked by another facial coding expert. So they reach some type of, agreement. Okay. And that's then what we train the algorithms on.
Okay. Yeah. Very impressive. Fantastic. Well, it's so cool. And it looks like it's so easy to integrate into the, tools that it's just very impressive. Thanks very much.
Thank you. But I just also, and Nick and Joe, we're also working on making this easy available in the experiment builder, just to have it as a click and add.
So cool.
So thanks for that as well.
Excellent. Thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks. Yes, we are. So just so that everybody watching knows that Adjmal has created these demonstrations of how you can use his tools within Gorilla. The next thing for Nick to do is to take that code and to package it up as a plug and play option within the task builder. You'll still need to have two accounts, one on the Gorilla side and one on the Mindtrace side, to pass your data back and to do that analysis in real time. But hopefully we'll get to start doing some of these fun things without any coding in the Gorilla task builder. It's going to be a new horizon